Yesterday, I celebrated an amazing milestone. I was so excited, over the moon, really. And I want to share that with you. And what it made me really want to share is that when you commit, when you decide, you win. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Melissa. I'm a narcissistic abuse recovery specialist, a trauma expert, and executive consultant who helps other narcissistic abuse survivors transcend their past experience of abuse and create leaps and massive growth in all areas of their life. So, a year ago yesterday, my daughter gave me an amazing gift. Her girlfriend was getting rid of her old Apple Watch. She had gotten a new one. My daughter knew that I had wanted an Apple Watch for some time. I hadn't gotten around to getting one. So she was able to give me this watch. She went out and she bought a new band that was beautiful. She bought a new charger. She brought me this gift. It was so thoughtful and so sweet. And as she was excitedly showing me, how to set up the rings and set up my various goals, I started to see more and more what I could do with this. So when I set up my goals that day a year ago, I set my move goal at 550 calories, my exercise goal at 60 minutes, and my stand goal at 12. And I decided, and I say the word decide because the word decide is so different than try. I committed to closing those rings every single day. And it's funny because years back, I had numerous people tell me that if you can do a habit 100% of the time, your habit's not challenging enough, that you should shoot for a habit that you do 90% of the time. And I have to say, while that may work for some people, for me, that is a complete and total pile of crap because to do something 100% of the time is far easier than to do it 99% of the time or 90% of the time. When I have committed to do it 100% of the time, it's going to get done. And what that's meant over the last year is that on these, 18-hour family road trips, I time stops so that I can get a stand minute at the end of 1 hour and at the start of another. I'll walk for 15 minutes at a rest stop or for 10 minutes to get some of those exercise minutes in. Even when I was sick about 6 weeks ago, I would stand, and dance in place for 10 minutes at a time, several times a day to get those exercise and those move calories in. Now, that might sound a little crazy, a little obsessive, and it's certainly not something that I say has to be done at the harm of myself. These are things that I've decided would be good for myself. Knowing my own tendency, I'm working on a proposal right now. My tendency would be to, hole up in some area and sit and write all day long when my body enjoys moving. It feels better. My joints feel better. My fascia feels better. My thoughts are clearer if I move. So these goals that I chose were habits that promote overall well-being and health. Certainly, if the day were to come that it were not healthy and not good for me to complete one of these rings, I would honor that. But yesterday was the day that I got the notification on the watch, a new achievement streak of 365 days, 365 days consecutively that I have closed all three rings. And the reason I bring this up for you is it really comes down to that commitment, that decision. It wasn't like, well, I'm going to try to exercise or I'm going to try to, do this or that. And even when there are other things that are, like I'm going to go to yoga 3 times a week or whatever, there becomes a lot of flexibility in that, right? Like, and then maybe you don't actually go 3 times a week because it's not 100% given that you're doing it today. Now, when you choose something and you commit, you decide that you're going to do it, It creates a great deal of confidence in terms of what you can achieve. This is something that I committed to doing. I didn't set out to do it for a year. I'm going to keep going. I have no intention of stopping. These were habits that I really wanted ingrained into my physical well being. Um, but when you choose something like this, when you decide to make it happen, absolutely anything is possible. The only thing getting in your way is you. So whether that's choosing to really devote the time and effort needed to narcissistic abuse recovery, it does not happen on its own. I wish it did, really. I mean, for me, it took over 10 years and well over $100,000 to get to the place where I am now. It's one of the reasons why I love teaching people how to do it in a significantly shorter period of time for significantly less money. But it does require a commitment to focusing on that, to moving forward, to adopting new behaviors, things like saying no when you want to say no, so that your yes actually means something. There's a commitment that is required. This is also true whether that is in business, how you show up for your clients, how you show up for potential clients, how you present yourself. One of the things that I'm doing as a challenge for myself right now is really trying to disrupt and challenge my thinking around having to be hair and makeup and have, professional clothes on and whatnot to go ahead and share with you what's coming from my heart. And so I'm intentionally doing these lives right now without doing hair and makeup, without, dressing in any way other than what I would be wearing today. This is a writing week. I'm not face forward anywhere else this week. This is just what I'm wearing at home to, hunker down with my laptop and write. And so that is a challenge that I've committed to help myself grow. So whether your commitment is to grow in an area of narcissistic abuse recovery, to grow in an area of business, to grow in an area of life, to grow in an area of health and well-being, to grow in an area of joy or peace through meditating, through some other activity. The world is your oyster. You just need to commit to decide for the win.